Hello, welcome to a brand new knitting channel. My name is Nicole. I am brand new to the whole YouTube, interwebs, video podcasting situation. So welcome. If you're here, you must love fiber arts, yarn, knitting, crochet, different variety of things. I love all those things also. That is why I decided to start doing this. In addition to that, I've been yearning for some more connection with the fiber arts community, both locally and just across the world. I feel like there's a ton of us out there. We're all interested in this beautiful craft. And it felt like a good opportunity to start something new and get out there and maybe start developing some more friendships, some more relationships within the community. So a quick intro. My name is Nicole. Like I said, I'm based out of the southwestern part of the United States. It is very hot here, so knitting is an interesting craft. Knitting and fiber arts are an interesting craft to do in the summer months when it is blazing hot. But luckily we have air conditioning, so being inside and knitting is pleasant. I do a few different crafts. So primarily I knit. I do crochet a little bit. I also spin. I sew, read books, drink lots of coffee and tea, all of those cozy little things that we do to kind of get away from real life sometimes. But I'm also really interested in using the craft to create a more sustainable wardrobe. I'm looking to really start to create more of a capsule wardrobe for myself, and then also have some really nice pieces that I could use to layer and stuff like that. I'm actually wearing one right now, which I'll talk about a little more later. But this, the craft, I think, it's very slow, right? It's a very slow craft, and I think it's a great way to get away from all of the fast-paced environment, especially if you live in the United States. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's just so much chaos sometimes, and it feels like you're inundated with things and information, and it's nice to just take a breath and take a step back and be able to calm down. With that, I mean, part of that for me is I have a family. I'm married and we have 3 sons. So 3 sons, it's a lot. It's fun. It's chaotic. It's loud, but it's great. And I love our family so much. And again, knitting is that opportunity when they, calm down for the night. It's a great opportunity to come and just kind of mentally process things throughout the day and get some time to myself. So, by trade, my real job, I work in the architecture industry. I have for my whole career, so about 15 years now, and it's fun. It's also very fast paced. It's also, I'm in a very corporate setting. So those things, while I love them, are also another fast-paced thing where you're just getting inundated with information and tasks and to-do lists. So again, all the crafts, you get the point. The crafts are a way to slow down. So today I had a bit of a different goal to get this channel kicked off. I think moving forward, I will do more of a set format. But for today, one of the things that I'm really excited about is here in the Phoenix area, we just got a new yarn shop, which for Phoenix is a big deal. We lost a few during COVID. Several went out of business, it was such a bummer, but obviously COVID was an issue and they just couldn't sustain, especially in a market where we have a lot of people that come in from out of state, retirees and things like that. A lot of that business stopped or slowed down significantly during COVID because people were sheltering in place and couldn't travel. So we lost a few yarn shops during that time, and we were down to 1 yarn shop for a while. But recently, in the last couple of years, we picked up a new yarn shop. So now there was 2. And then funnily enough, I just found out, not even while I was in Phoenix, I was traveling in Chicago, and in Chicago, I went to a local yarn shop because of course, that's on the to-do list every time I travel, is find a local yarn shop. In that local yarn shop in Chicago, somebody there was like, I heard you're from Phoenix. I overheard, and you have to go check out this new yarn store in Scottsdale. I'm like, wait a minute, how are you who live in Chicago telling me who lives in Phoenix about a new yarn store in Phoenix? It's funny. The stars aligned. It was meant to be. I'm fully convinced it was meant to be. So she told me about this new yarn store in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's called Yarn Parlour, the Yarn Parlour. It is so cute. I have been dying to go since I found out, which was only a couple weeks ago, but I'm back in town now. I'm back home and was like, okay, it's Memorial Day weekend. I have some time. I will have some extra knitting time this weekend. Like, let's please go to this yarn shop and find some stuff and see what they have. I can tell you, I've been to a lot of yarn shops. You can see I have bookshelves of yarn behind me. I've been to a lot of places with yarn. I've seen a lot of yarn. I've touched a lot of yarn. I walked into the Yarn Parlour and genuinely found so much yarn that I had never even seen, never been exposed to in person. Some of it I had heard about online, different makers, different YouTubers, a lot of designers who've used these yarns in their patterns. But for me, they were all very new, and I was able to squish a bunch of yarn, touch stuff, look at it, play with it. It was like a kid in a candy store for the first time. It was so fun. So what I decided, because I'll admit I was a little overwhelmed. I was definitely like, oh God, so many things. What I decided to do is I decided to actually pick up one ball of several different kinds of yarn. To pick up sweater quantities and a bunch of different yarns didn't seem like the most, financially responsible decision in that moment. So I went ahead and picked one ball of several different kinds of yarn. And what I would love to do for this first intro video is to go through each of the yarns I picked up, talk a little bit about them, why I picked them, what I think they would be good for, and then give a little insight into my plans of how I want to see them swatched up. My goal is to get all of these swatched in the next couple weeks, and come back for episode 2. And that'll be essentially showing you all the swatches of these different things that I tried out together. So you will see a lot of the same color family. You'll see red. I picked red. You'll see a lot of red in the yarn balls coming out, but everything I could get in a red tone or a red color family, I did. And then you'll see a few others that are different, mainly because they might not have had the red, or I just wanted to try something different in some of these other ones. But you'll see when we get to the swatches in the next episode how I held different yarns together, and I'll give you some feedback on that. And that will inform what I decide to make, what I decide to go back for in maybe a larger quantity for a specific project. But yeah, it's definitely a sampling of a lot of yarns. There's probably like 15 plus yarns that I got. I did get a couple for specific projects. So there are 2 yarns that I got, actually enough for a specific project for each of them. And I'll talk about that as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to look at some yarn, to tell you about some yarn. It's going to be fun. So let's get started. We're just going to jump in. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with the lighter weight yarns, everything from a lace weight to a worsted weight. I'll be honest, living in Phoenix, we don't have need for like bulky or super bulky knits typically. Even in the dead of winter, it's pretty warm for something like that. So typically a worsted weight or even like an Aran weight is about as heavy as I go, unless I'm making something for someone else or something that's just meant to be like a cozy, like a cozy little blanket, like a lap blanket or something. I typically don't go any heavier than that. So all we'll see today is lace weight through worsted, and there's only a couple worsted. There's several sport weight yarns, which I love. I feel like I have a hard time finding sport weight. And then a couple DKs as well. So we'll jump in. Let's just go, right? Okay, so to start out on the lace weight. So this is Lana Grossa. Lana Grossa is a brand that is out of Germany. So they do, I think they're a pretty big commercial brand out of Germany, from a little bit of what I was told by the owner, Nicole, of the Yarn Parlour. Her name is also Nicole. So this is Seta Surrey, which is a silk and Surrey blend. It's a 50-gram ball. It's a 25-gram ball. Most of these are 25 or 50-gram balls. Which personally I like, because I think it makes it easier to do like small color work things or smaller projects, and you don't have to buy 3 skeins when you really need 2.5. So this is a 25-gram ball, 69% alpaca Surrey and 31% silk. This one is, what's the color? The color is 009. I did notice that Lana Grossa, all of the colors are numbers, so they don't have names, which is fair. I mean, that's a lot of work to come up with names for all the colors. So this is color 009. It is sort of an, like I would call like a matte bright red. It doesn't have a ton of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's a little bit of an orangey red, but still really, really nice. I'll try and maybe insert some pictures too, because even on the camera it looks a little washed out with some of the light, but it's definitely a bit deeper than what you see on the camera. This is very soft, very fine lace weight. It's, you know, what a lot of people would consider like a fuzzy yarn. It is not overly scratchy. It's very soft. I could wear this next to skin, no problem. I don't have a ton of sensitivity to like wool and other fibers unless I get hot. If I start to get hot, then I get very itchy. So like this, I could easily see this being fine, even, you know, warming up a little bit. So I plan to use this to hold together with several of the other yarns that you're about to see, and you'll understand why in a bit. But yeah, so this is Seta Surrey, so a Surrey silk. And that's the first one. Okay, so the next one we have is more of an accent yarn, what I would call an accent yarn. So this is Lana Grossa as well, and this is called Glamour. Now we are like full glam on this, right? This is all sequins. These are like little tiny micro sequins on a red thread. The purpose of this is really to be held together with something, which is the plan. So I plan to hold this together with, you know, several of the other yarns plus the Surrey. I actually think it'd be really interesting to see a little swatch of these together. This is also a 25-gram ball. This is a 55% polyamide and 45% polyester. 115 meters. I don't think I told you the meterage on this. This is 212 meters. So this one's 115 meters, and the color is 0007. Again, it's a very orangey red. I would say it leans actually more orange red than this one. This is more orangey red than this. But I think together they'll be beautiful. So I do plan to hold this together with several of the swatches I'm going to make. You'll see the different effects on the next video, hopefully on episode 2. Okay, now jumping into one of the first yarns that I bought for a specific project. My husband is a mountain biker. He loves to go out and ride on the trails and stuff out here in the Phoenix area. And I, of course, am worried. And so I am always like, don't get hit by cars. Be careful with the traffic. You know, when he rides on the street to get to the trails, I'm like, oh, please be careful. So what I thought would be fun is they had this Lang Yarns Jaw Wool Superwash, which is 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. It is a sock yarn. It's a 50-gram ball with 210 meters. It is intended to be a sock yarn. And the really cool thing about this is they actually include this thread right here. So this is a reinforcing thread. It's like snugged up in the middle of the ball. You can kind of feel like the lump of it in the middle of the ball. So that little thread corresponds to the same color as the yarn that you buy. And the purpose of that is to reinforce the heel, maybe the toes, maybe the ball of the foot, wherever you tend to get the holes worn faster in your sock. That's the purpose, is to hold that thread in, and it provides that additional reinforcing. So I got 2 in the black color, which the color number is 830004. And again, this has 210 meters. So I got 2 of those in black, which is that 0004 color. And then I also got this like super bright chartreuse color. As you can tell, actually, if you see my nails, they're also this color. I love a bright neon yellow color. This is color 830313. And I figured I could do sort of like safety yellow stripes with black socks for him, so he can have something super bright to wear when he's going on his bike rides. So that is the first of the yarns that I bought for a specific project. Super soft, very nice yarn. It's very well plied. You can kind of see it's a very nice, tight, plump sock yarn. Okay. So moving on to the next thing. So this is one of the ones that they did not have in a red color, but I have heard so much about this yarn. So this is Sandnes Garn Tin Line. This is entirely plant-based yarn. It's really, really pretty. This is Sandnes Garn is a Norwegian brand yarn. I've heard a lot about this. I know like Petite Knit, Sari Nordland, a few other designers in Europe use this brand quite a lot. I think it's very popular, sort of in the European area. I can see why. I mean, there were several Sandnes Garn yarns in the Yarn Parlour shop that I went to, and I bought several of them. So you'll actually see a few of them over the course of this video. But this one was just super intriguing to me as, one, the weight of it, like the lightness of it, and then the composition, the fiber composition. So this is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So at first, I kind of expected this to be like kind of coarse, a little bit scratchy, like a little cottony, like rough, you know. It is not. It is so soft. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little bit of a sheen. It's not super shiny, but it does have a little bit of a sheen. It is very smooth, and it is very lightweight. I mean, this is like this is almost like a light fingering. So a lot of cotton yarns I have found are a bit heavier, like they're in the DK, and cotton just inherently is heavier, like it weighs more. And so when you get into some of these plant fibers and you can get something this lightweight and this, like delicate, I'm super excited about that. So especially in Phoenix, again, because it's hot here. So I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited to try it, to swatch it. I will likely swatch this by itself and then held double. And the reason for that is because I would love to see just a simple tank top in this. Very lightweight, like very, very lightweight. So a little bit of facts on this. This is color Soft Sand. They don't list the yardage on here, so I have it written down. Let me just see. Da, 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 da. Do I have it written down? I do. Okay. Yep. So Tin Line, 240 yards for a 50-gram ball. So you get some decent yardage on a 50-gram ball too. So like I said, it's definitely like a light fingering weight. It's not a lace, but like it's getting close. Maybe it wants to be a lace. I don't know. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how this one knits up. So again, I'll swatch it by itself, and then I'll swatch it with itself held together, like 2 strands of this together. So feedback on that forthcoming. I'm very excited. I think that one's beautiful. Okay, getting into some of the like more woolly-ish blends. So this is another Lana Grossa yarn. This is called Echo Puno. Okay. This color is 100. It's, again, another orangey red. So this one is actually comprised, it's a 50-gram ball, and it's got 215 meters. It is comprised of 72% cotton, 17% virgin merino wool, and 11% baby alpaca. So this actually looks like a fuzzy yarn. It's not a single ply yarn, although it kind of gives that vibe when you're looking at it far away. It's not. It's a very high ply yarn, but it's got some fuzz in it. Like it's got a little bit of a brushed effect to it that gives it that halo. And I would never guess this is a cotton yarn. Like I would never guess this has cotton in it. It's wild to me to even think that, but when you touch it, it is soft. It is very, very soft. It's got a really nice, like, texture to it. It doesn't feel coarse like cotton. I don't know. It's really cool. It's not something I've ever really encountered before, and I'm excited to try this. So I will try this obviously by itself just to see. It's listed as like a fingering weight, which is probably right. And then I will try it with the Surrey. I do think that would create like another beautiful halo, although it already has some halo. And then I will also try it with this yarn. I may also do this one held double, mostly because as it's a more lightweight yarn and it has so much cotton in it, I would love to see how holding this double comes up into like a DK or a worsted weight gauge. I would just love to see how that knits up because I could see this being really pretty. So this is beautiful. I'm very excited about this. Like I said, I've never seen something like this. I've never seen so much cotton blended in with wool and alpaca like that. So yeah, that's a beautiful one. So Echo Puno, Lana Grossa, to see how it goes. Okay, the next one, kind of moving into the sport weight yarns. So the next one that I got is actually for a specific project. This is one of the other ones I got that I intentionally wanted to make something with it. So this is Lana Grossa Seta Pura, or Seta Pura, maybe? I don't know how you pronounce the P in German, but so this one, you can kind of see here. I mean, it looks like a cotton. So when you're looking at this, it looks like what you think of when you think of like a cotton, right? It's a very matte finish. It's got like some soft little nubs in it. This is actually 100% silk, which I'm guessing is what Seta Pura means. Seta is silk. So, if you kind of see it here, right? See the little like nubs and stuff? So this, when I picked it up, I thought this was cotton. They had a sample knit in the store, and I actually was touching it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the softest cotton I've ever felt in my life. It was not cotton, it's silk, and maybe that's why it's so soft, I don't know. But this is just super interesting to me, because when I think of silk, I think of shiny, I think of reflective, I think of very, like, silk. This is not that at all. It is very matte. It's very nice. It's very soft. It is a bit more coarse than like a shiny silk would be, but it is still incredibly soft. And the sample they had in the store, which I assume had been like blocked and washed, was even softer. So this one I did get 4 balls of this. There's 200 meters per ball, per 50-gram ball. This is color 08. And I did get 4 of these to make a tank top. I have been eyeballing a couple tank tops. So I have been looking at Boyland Knitworks Hawthorne tank. My only qualm with that is I don't know how I would wear a bra with that. So, and then the other one that I also love is the mini mock neck tank from Jessie Maed Designs. That one, I feel like I could wear it easier and just extend the body length on it for my size. So probably that's the one I will make, but I'm going to swatch. I have enough yarn to do either one plus swatching. So I will swatch this and see what the gauge comes out to, see how it looks after it's swatched and what it feels like it wants to be. But I thought this was a beautiful, beautiful pink color for the summer and the spring. No, it's summer. It's summer. And just... yeah, I'm excited. So 4 balls of that. Okay. Now, keeping in sort of the sport-ish weight yarns, another new brand to me, this one is called Pasquale. I believe this is from Peru, just according to the supple Peruvian Pima cotton blend title. The actual yarn itself is called Cumbria. Okay. Yep, you can kind of see it. So this is more of what I expect when I think of a Pima cotton. This is definitely like, it's sort of a medium ply, looks like a 3-ply yarn. It is 60% cotton, Pima cotton, and 40% viscose from bamboo. So this is 164 yards for a 50-gram ball. This is the color 346, which is basically like a taupe color. It's like a very warmish gray. I don't know if you can kind of see it. And it is, yeah, it's very nice. It's drapey. It's going to be very shiny. Again, it's what I think of when I think of like a Pima cotton. You know, it's got a lot more sheen to it. The ply is nice. I do think that it's going to hold up well for, like some light textures, lace maybe a little bit. I do think that as I look at it, I don't know if it would hold up for cables necessarily. I think the cables would fall flat a little bit, but you know, maybe I'll swatch it and see. Maybe I'll swatch some cables on there just to see how it blocks out, but it is beautiful. It is a little bit of a heavier, like you can just tell that it's got a little more heft to it because of that Pima cotton. But it is beautiful. I think it would be a gorgeous, like very simple tank top, or maybe something with a little bit of texture in it. So yeah, so I will try this one out. I may hold this with the Surrey, even though they're different colors. I may hold it with the Surrey just to see how it looks, but I feel like this one wants to be like its own sort of summer garment, you know, and the Surrey will make it very hot. So we'll see. Okay, now jumping into some more wool blend yarns, less plant-based on this. So this one is another brand I had never heard of. I believe the brand is from Scotland. So if I'm wrong on that, sorry. So this is Jody Long is the brand, and the yarn itself is called Alba. So this is Jody Long Alba. You can kind of see here, it is like a beautiful tweedy yarn. So this is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. There's 382 yards for 100 grams, and the color is winter. So this is very much like a toothy wool. It's definitely got a bit more scratch to it. It's not going to be as soft as some of these other ones, although, like me personally, I don't think it's scratchy. I think it's just woolly, right? You know what people say when they say woolly, which is super unhelpful if you don't actually know what that means. It's like, what does that mean? It's a white that's got a very cool blue undertone to it. And then there's all these little flecks of like navy blue tweed throughout. So this is beautiful. I expect this is a 2-ply yarn. So I expect that this, when it blocks out, is going to bloom. So this would be great for like lace. And I expect once I swatch this and block it, it's going to puff up quite a bit. So I'm excited about this. And then, you know, it's a 100-gram ball, and okay, sorry, my headphones turned off, so I had to restart. Anyway, so this is Jody Long Alba. Wool comes out of Scotland. Wool alpaca viscose tweed. Love the tweed. I think this would actually be beautiful, also like in a sweater vest. I think that'd be so pretty. So I'm excited about this. Okay. That one I will most likely swatch by itself. I may hold it double, although I think double would get into like a worsted or an Aran, which might be a little heavy for me, but I would love to see how this knits up on a couple different gauges, so a couple different needle sizes. I think it would be beautiful in like a really tight gauge, and then I also think it would bloom up quite a bit on a looser gauge. So I want to experiment a little bit on a couple different needle sizes with this to see how it blooms. Okay. Moving right along. All right, this next one I'm super excited about. It's a little bit of a splurge. So this one is Sandnes Garn Cashmere. So if you know what cashmere is, you know that it is not the least expensive thing out there. And this is a 25-gram ball of 100% cashmere. So this is definitely like a splurge purchase, which I was very excited about. I've never been able to fully touch, something like this, and it's beautiful. It is so soft. By far the softest yarn that I got, including of the Surrey. Like, it's soft. So Sandnes Garn Cashmere, 100% cashmere. This has let's see, 120 yards for a 25-gram ball. Okay, so the really interesting thing to me is this is like a sport weight-ish yarn, and it's got this like chainette construction. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually like a chainette construction. It's got a little bit of a halo to it, but like when I say soft, like soft, crazy soft. Again, I did the bright red color. I'm looking to swatch this by itself because yes. And then I'm also going to do with this sequins and with the Surrey. And I just really want to see how this works up. I don't think I would ever make a sweater out of this. I mean, one, the price point for me is like, but what I think this would actually be beautiful for is like maybe a hat or maybe something around your neck. I feel like this would be a beautiful scarf, a beautiful little neck kerchief. This is going to keep you so warm for not a huge piece of fabric. And like I said, it is so soft. It is crazy soft. It's beautiful. And given the smaller balls, I do think it'd be easier to do, like if you wanted to do multiple colors, if you wanted to stripe it, it's like a little bit easier to get in on a 25-gram ball. I will say, like, this still wasn't cheap. This 25-gram ball, I want to say, was like $28. So this is not something, if you need quantity, this is not going to be something, and maybe it is for you, like, no shade. If it is for you, awesome. You do you. Good job. But for me, at least, this is definitely not something I would buy like in a sweater quantity. It's just not at a price point that I would be willing to pay for that. But I do think there are people out there who would be interested in that, and that's great. I think that's awesome to support, different businesses. But oh, I could see myself making like a really beautiful scarf out of this, a really beautiful like neck kerchief, maybe a hat. I don't know that I would do mittens. I think it's a little bit soft for mittens, and I do think it would pill and wear a little bit on your hands just because you use your hands so much. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. So that's cashmere. I'll hold it with a couple different strands. I'll do some swatches, and I expect that after I swatch and block this, it's going to be even softer, which is unreal. It's kind of shocking to think about. Now, the Yarn Parlour actually had a lot of cashmere yarn, more than I've ever seen in one yarn store, and that was really exciting. They had a fuzzy yarn that was 100% cashmere or like cashmere and silk or something like that, and it was absolutely stunning. Again, higher price point. I found a few cashmere blend yarns that were at a slightly better price point, in my opinion, and this next one is one of them. They didn't have it in red, but I'll probably still swatch with some of these other ones, and it'll just look funny, but that's okay. This is a Lana Grossa Cashmere 16 Fine. So this is a cashmere blend. It is not 100% cashmere, but this is a cashmere blend. This is color 51, and the makeup of it is 10% polyamide, 10% cashmere, and 80% virgin wool. So the majority of this is wool, and this also has that chainette structure. I don't know if there's something about cashmere that makes it better in that sort of structure of like this chainette look. Truly, I don't know. If somebody knows, like, put it in the comments, because I would love to know more about why so many of these cashmeres have that vibe. But this one's beautiful. It is also incredibly soft. I mean, it's not as soft as the 100% cashmere, but like, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. this I would totally buy a sweater's quantity for. First of all, the yardage is quite a bit more. You actually get, and it is a little heavier weight. It's more of a DK than a sport, but you get 350 yards for a 50-gram ball. So, you know, you're at a different price point for something like this. And it still has that bit of cashmere in it, which makes it so incredibly soft. I did read a little bit online about like the stretchiness of this chainette. Let me see if I can show you. Maybe like that. Like the stretchiness of this chainette structure. I heard a few people say like you really got to test your gauge and your swatch with it because of that like stretchiness, the gauge can be affected a little. So I'm really interested to actually swatch with this and see how it works. I will swatch this by itself, but I'll do it with a few different needle sizes as well. I'm interested to see how it blooms, if it blooms with that chainette structure or if it sort of tightens up with that chainette structure. I don't know. We'll see. It's a new one. But this is, I mean, this is pretty close in softness to that other cashmere. And like I said, it's a little different price point if that's something that you're interested in. So I'm very excited about this one. I do think this would be a beautiful garment. I think this would be a beautiful sweater. Maybe just like simple stockinette or some very, very simple texture. Yeah, this is going to be really pretty. So I'm excited about this one. This is probably one of the ones I'm, you know, other than the 100% cashmere, this is like the second one I'm very excited about. So yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, now moving into a little bit of the DKs. That was also kind of considered a DK, although I think depending on how you get your gauge, you could maybe use it as a sport. These next ones are going to be a lot more in the DK range. So Lana Grossa has I guess a line of yarns that they call cool wool, and they have different sizes of them. So there's the original cool wool, which is this Lana Grossa cool wool right here. This is the DK. Again, I got the orangey red color because I'm interested to swatch it with a few of these other ones. This one I will do for sure with the sequin and the suri. But this is like the DK one. So cool wool, 100% virgin merino wool. And it is color 0417. And this has 50 grams, 160 meters. So this is like a very tightly plied yarn. This is what I call like a round yarn. So when you're seeing it, like this is something that like this would be great for texture. This would be great for cables. Like it's going to hold its little round shape and it's going to puff those cables up for you really well. I think. I haven't swatched yet. I'm just guessing. But it seems like it would be that type of yarn. It's got a very tight ply. It's very tightly spun. And it is, you know, it's wool. But it's got a little bit of a sheen because of the spinning of it. This is what they call a worsted spin, which means the fibers are aligned, and when they spin it, it creates this like very smooth, tight, round yarn. And so you can kind of see here a little bit more, but this is going to be great, I think, for just like an overall workhorse yarn. Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is beautiful. I like that it has a little bit of sheen, but it's still wool, and it is very soft. It's actually very, very nice. It's not scratchy at all. It almost feels like a superwash, but it's not. You know how superwash feels like a little bit shiny? Like you can feel shiny? I don't know if I'm explaining that, but that's what it feels like, but it's not superwash. So this one I will do by itself. I'll hold it with the sequins. I'll hold it with the fuzzy yarn, and I will see, you know, kind of what to do with this. I think this could be a great sweater. I think this could be a great, like a loose fitting t-shirt, like sort of an open gauge t-shirt would be really cute. Yeah, or even like a cabled sweater vest would also be beautiful. So that's cool wool, DK. Now, with that same brand and line of yarn, they have cool wool vintage. So this is also still the DK. It's the same makeup. It's 100% virgin merino wool, extra fine merino wool. And it is also the 50 grams, 160 meters. The color of this is 7373. So the difference between the cool wool and the vintage is that in the cool wool, you see that this is a very solid color. Like this is very much a solid, no variation, one color. The vintage has some variation. So you can see a little bit of that. You start to see like some darks, some brights, a little bit of marling or heathering or something, depending on what you want to call it. So the vintage is like more of what I would call like a kettle dyed yarn, where you get like some light and dark spots. It's all blue, but it's like various shades of blue, or it's all green, it's various shades of green. So that's what the vintage means in the cool wool line brand. So this is the same composition as the cool wool, but this is a color family or color blends that have some heathering and some variation. So I got this one as well. Like I said, I wanted to see sort of how that knits up and how much variation that is. I think, again, this would be like a great sweater or even like a beautiful shawl or a scarf, where maybe you want to have a little bit of variation. Like if it's a garter stitch or something, you would have a little bit of variation in the coloring, but not so much that you couldn't do like some texture or some lace work or something. So that's the cool wool vintage. And then I'm going to jump to the next one, which is a worsted weight, and then we'll come back to another. Am I? No, I lied. Let's just stick with DK. Okay, so the last DK that I got is this Lamana Cosma. So I've never heard of Lamana either. Never seen it, never had the opportunity to touch it. It's beautiful though. This is Lamana Cosma, 60% cotton, 40% modal, color 15. And this is a 50 gram ball with 100 meters. So this is a completely plant-based yarn. You see it a little bit there. So it is shiny. It is definitely more in that line of like the Puma cotton, where it's a little bit shiny. It's got that sheen to it. It's very tightly plied. It actually it's actually somewhat reminiscent of the cool wool, but in a cotton blend. Like if you look at these together, I feel like they're so similar, right? Like they're so similar and they're completely different fiber content. So that's super interesting to me. So this cotton one, the Lamana one, I will swatch by itself as well. It's going to be very drapey. Like you can already see, it's just going to be very drapey. It's going to be very shiny, very much give that vibe of cotton. It's very high spun. So I do think this would hang on to a little bit of texture, but being as shiny and sort of like smooth as it is, I don't know that it will hold up to some cables or something like that. So I'm going to try it out and see. I also want to hold this with the sequin yarn and the fuzzy yarn. I want to get a sense of if I could add something like that to give it a little more texture. And how that would work. I mean, obviously being a cotton yarn and a blend, I don't know that I want to put too much warmth into it, but I feel like adding the sequin yarn would be really pretty for something like this because it already has that high sheen, and putting a little bit of sequin in here could be really pretty for like maybe something a little more formal, a little more like, date night vibe. So yeah. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost there. Okay, we are going to go back to cool wool now. So jumping into the worsted weights. So cool wool and cool wool vintage are their DK weight yarns. This one is a cool wool big vintage. I imagine they probably have a cool wool big, but I didn't find that one when I was at the store. So this is another Lana Grossa cool wool big vintage, color 7161. This is a 50 gram ball with 120 meters, and it is also 100% virgin merino extra fine wool. Now, again, on the coloring, this is one of those that's got sort of that watercolor, kettle dyed effect where you get like some green, some yellow, some of different tones. So it's definitely got more color variation in it than just a solid color wool. And it's a worsted. So when they say cool wool big, that means it's their worsted version of the yarn. It's pretty. It's so nice. I do feel like their worsted one is slightly less tightly spun than the DK. it just feels like a little bit looser. I'm not sure if that's just my imagination or what, but I will swatch this by itself, and I will swatch this on a few different needles. I don't see myself carrying mohair or sequins with this. Worsted is heavy. Worsted is heavy for Phoenix, so this one would be its own kind of standalone, I think. So yeah, we'll try it out and see how it goes. I'm excited though. It's beautiful. It's gonna be soft and cozy and great. So I'm gonna take a quick sip of coffee. All right, last one. We're almost done. Okay, the last one I got is another Sandnes Garn yarn. This one is called Atlas. This is 70% Norwegian lamb's wool and 30% merino wool. This is the color True Red. The yardage on this is 118 yards for a 50-gram ball. Now, when you talk about like a toothy, scratchy wool, that's what this is, right? This is like a workhorse wool yarn. This is not going to be something that you're like, oh, this is the softest thing ever. It's not that. Like, just full candid truth, it's not. But this, in my opinion, is something I would love to use for like a cardigan, especially in the winter. I would love to use this for a hat, for mittens. This would be beautiful as mittens or even colorwork mittens. I think this would be beautiful. Honestly, I would wear it as a sweater, but only in the dead of winter. It is a worsted weight and it is wool. And so here in Phoenix, that's a lot. But I do think this would be so beautiful as some kind of like garment, outerwear. If you live somewhere really cold, this would be beautiful as a sweater. This would be, you know, great for a shawl or maybe like a big shawl that you wrap around your shoulders and doesn't necessarily have to be like as close to skin unless you just love wool and you don't care, which that would be me if I lived somewhere cold. It is definitely a bit more coarse. It's very matte. You can kind of see like, you know, it kind of reminds me of like the eco wools and stuff, but in a good way. I mean, I love an eco wool, so like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's definitely a matte finish. It's definitely woolly. It's got great texture. I think this would be beautiful with cables, beautiful with texture. Maybe a sweater vest would be beautiful in this, as like a layering piece. They had a ton of colors of this, and yeah, this is like, when I think of like Norwegian wool, this is what I think of. That is, you know, it's beautiful. This one, I do think I'm actually going to try holding this with the fuzzy yarn, mostly because I just want to see how much it changes the texture of this when you add the fuzz. I don't know that I would ever knit something like this for myself personally, because again, it's hot, but I could see myself maybe knitting something like this together for somebody who lives in Chicago. I have a lot of friends and family that live in Chicago. So like I could see something for that, or maybe some family in, you know, the Midwest and colder parts of the country. So yeah, I love this though. I love a good wool. I mean, I really do. I'm kind of weird about it because, again, you live in Phoenix and it's like, when are you ever going to wear this? I don't know, but I love it. So, all right. Yeah. So as you could see, there was a lot of red. There was a lot of different fiber content. There was a lot of different ideas. Sorry, fuzz. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. So for episode 2, the goal for episode 2 is to have a bunch of swatches for you all to see. I'm planning to have the various like held together yarn swatch so that you can kind of see. I really, like I said, for the most part, I bought only one ball of each type of yarn with the intention of just using them all for swatches. So as I knit them up and as I start washing and blocking them, I'll keep notes. I'll make sure I tell you like what all the different swatches are. I expect that video will also be kind of a long one, so we'll see. But in general, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to try a bunch of new yarns, at least new to me, especially living out in Phoenix where we don't tend to get a lot of this stuff. So I'm very excited about it. I do hope that after all my swatches, I get the opportunity to like go back and pick up some items for maybe like a garment or maybe like a specific piece. There's a few different sweaters I've been wanting to knit. And I'll talk about them more next time because I know we're pushing the time on this. So, yeah, feel free to drop any questions or suggestions of things to swatch together in the comments. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be out here. I'm really excited to be kind of putting all this out into the YouTube universe. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have about the different yarns, or if you have, more questions about the yarn shop, I can link it and the location of it in the show notes and just give you a little more feedback on that. So yeah, excited. Thank you for coming. If you've actually watched through this whole thing, I mean, thank you. That's amazing because it's a lot of information. Even I got like to the point where my voice is hurting. So I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sticking around. I look forward to the next one and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks. Alright, hi, I'm back. I realized during editing that I told you all I was going to tell you what I was wearing, and then immediately got distracted by yarn and didn't tell you anything about it. So, sorry about the light. I know it's really bright. It's late in the day now, and there's like no natural light going on, so instead of it being really dark, it's going to be really bright. But this is the Lace Whimsy Vest by Celine Feyten Designs. She is such an incredible maker. This was actually the first test knit I ever did. And this was only a couple years ago. I haven't been test knitting for very long, but I find that test knits really force me to finish things. For example, there's like sweaters and things over here that have been sitting there languishing forever. I'm not the best at finishing, so there's a lot of accountability in a test knit because you need to finish. So this is an all over lace vest. There are, like, on the side you do have like a panel of stockinette, but the lace itself, it's these beautiful columns of lace. The yarn I used for this is a fingering weight superwash merino wool. It is from Hobby Lobby. I can't remember the exact name of the yarn. I know the brand of the yarn was their house yarn, like Yarn Bee or something. This sat in my stash for a really, really long time. I don't necessarily shop there anymore, so I don't know if this yarn still exists or if they still have this color, nor do I know what the color was. But, it's kind of this rusty, orangey red color. There's a lot of variegation in this. If I were to remake this, which I have thought about doing, I would likely do it in a more solid color. I think that some of the texture and patterning of the lace got lost with the variegation, which is definitely a me issue. It's not a her issue. She did a great job with this pattern. It's beautiful. There's an applied I-cord edging around the neckband, and down the front is this beautiful little scalloped crochet edge. I don't know if you can see that very well, kind of. Her instructions are incredible. She color codes all of her sizes, and all of her directions are super clear. Outside of maybe her bralettes, I would actually recommend her patterns to even a beginner. Even some of her more challenging patterns, I think a beginner could get through them if they're willing to, be adventurous and try. She's also very prolific on the bust darts. For me, as somebody who has a larger body and a larger chest, the bust darts are invaluable. I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to customize the chest area and not have to have like a giant oversized garment every single time. So she is very good about how to modify patterns to fit your body. So I highly recommend her. I will link her different, Ravelry and like website and stuff in the show notes, but I did want to come back in and just tell you all the thing that I told you I was going to tell you. So yeah, so simple, really beautiful, very soft, very drapey, great layering piece. We just live in the hottest place on earth. No, just kidding. I'm being dramatic, but it's pretty hot. So anyway, thanks.